Building AI agents and automation workflows just got 10 times easier, or so it seems. Apparently, you can now generate a complete AI agent or automation workflow in under 2 minutes using n8n's new AI workflow builder. And how it works is you just log in, describe exactly what you want to build, and it builds the whole thing for us. Up to now, how we do this is we piece together different third-party tools, wait like 20 minutes for the workflow to generate, and spend 3 times as more time debugging it than we would have spent if we had just built the workflow by ourselves from scratch. So the question is, while this is convenient, is it any good? In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to use this new n8n's AI workflow builder, how to use it to automate in n8n, and we'll test it out together using 3 AI agents, each one more powerful than the last, just to see how far we can push this thing. Let's dive in. So, at the time of recording this, to get access to this new n8n workflow builder, you need to be on n8n Cloud. So, right now it's only available on the cloud hosted version, but it is coming to the self hosted version pretty soon. So, be looking out for that. And if you are on the cloud hosted version, or when it does come out on the self hosted version, you just want to make sure that you're on version 1.116.1 latest beta because that's the version that has access to it. Maybe at the time of release, it might be latest stable, but that's just the one that's going to have access to this n8n workflow builder. So now coming into the interface, we can see that it's a bit different. So usually before we just have this plus sign, which is just to add a first step, but now we can see this new feature, which is build with AI. And that is how we get access to this new n8n AI workflow builder. So just clicking into this, we can see it appears right on the side. And just to give some notes on this, it works on a credit system, meaning that for each prompt you send, that costs 1 credit. So for me right now, I'm on the free plan, just here to test this out and show you guys this amazing feature because I usually use the self-hosted. But we can see that with this, the free plan gets 20 monthly credits. And for the starter plan, you get 50 credits. And for the pro plan, you get 150 credits. So it is a bit limited, meaning that you can't generate unlimited workflows using this at this time. Secondly, what I'd like to talk about is you actually have a limit on the length of prompts that you can put into this workflow builder. So let's say, for example, I put this very long prompt. We can see here, you've reached the 1,000 character limit, meaning that we can't use any prompts more than 1,000 characters. So the prompts have to be short. But just to give a little pro tip, if you do have to use a really long prompt, then you can just break down your prompt into tiny pieces and then just progressively build the workflow with the chunks of the prompts. Next, we can see above here, there are 2 options. So we have the ask and the build. So when you're using this n8n workflow builder, you want to make sure that it is on the build, so not on the ask, because it's with the build that you start to then use it to build the workflows. So now we've covered all that. Let's dive into this and see exactly how it works. And I'm going to be timing this to see exactly how long it takes to generate the full workflow and to know if they actually live up to your claims. So I'm just going to put the message in here and it says, create a workflow that starts with a manual trigger and connects to your Gmail account. The workflow should fetch the latest unread email in your inbox. Use an AI agent to generate a friendly and professional reply based on the email content. The workflow should then send the reply automatically and return a confirmation message stating who the email was from and that a reply was sent. So I'm just going to send that off and I'm going to start the timer. Start. So right now we can see that is thinking. And here in the editor, we can see this working over here. Now it's getting the node details. Adding the nodes so we can see the nodes as separate entities. and it's connected to nodes. Awesome. So it did that in less than a minute. So it did that in 43 seconds. But now let's check the output and actually see how it is. So we can come here in the editor and we can see everything that is generated. Looks good. And let's see, it starts with a manual trigger and then it goes to get my unread email. After that, we have this AI agent here that generates a reply using Anthropic as the chat model. After that, it sends a reply, and then we have the confirmation message here. So I say for a skeleton, this is not bad at all, but we do have to do some things over here. We have to configure some things in here. And what I find really neat is over here, we have suggestions of what steps should be completed before we should execute the workflow. So it is very conscious that it did not set up the credentials in there and it's directly telling us we need to set them up before the next step. So now let's look into this and let's just set these up. So coming here, I'll just set up my Google credentials. Now let's see this one as well. We're just going to do the same thing. Okay, we can see that this is already connected now. And for Anthropic, we're just going to set our credentials. So now I've configured everything and let's just test this out to see if it actually works. Okay, and that successfully worked. So let's look into this and see what the results look like. So we start here with a manual trigger and coming into this unread email tab, get unread email, we can see that it got the unread email as we can see here. So this is the email I sent and it says, "Hi there. I came across your website and I'm interested in learning more about your AI automation services. Could you please tell me what packages you offer and how quickly you can get a project started? Thanks, Alex." And we can see that the AI agent replies something really weird that says, "I'd be happy to help you generate a friendly and professional email reply. However, it looks like the email content you mentioned didn't come true completely. I can see that you want me to reply to an email, but the sender information, subject line, and message content appear to be blank or missing. Could you please provide?" So basically, the AI agent is missing some information that it needs to set this up completely. Meaning that if we wanted to use this, we will still have to do a lot of debugging just to make sure everything looks good to go. But to be honest, as a very first version, I say this is not that bad. You just have to come here and do some tweaks and it should be good to go. But why not just tell this AI agent to fix itself? Because we have the AI agent builder. So I'm just going to specify what is lacking and tell it to do it better. And let's see if it can actually fix the workflow and improve it by itself. And for this, the issue was here in this generate reply. So we can see that we're not getting all the information we need because here we see that these fields are missing. So the from, the subject, and the actual email that was sent, you're all missing. So I'm just gonna tell the AI builder to kind of refine its approach and let's see if it can actually figure out how to fix that by itself. So here I have the message. It looks like the email, subject, and text from the email sent didn't get past to the AI. I want you to reveal your last approach and try again. Make sure you're using whatever information available from the email and still produce a friendly, professional response. So let's send that over. However, the issue here is that for every follow-up message that you send, you still have to spend a credit because every single prompt is a credit. So I wouldn't really advise to use this for debugging because let's say, for example, you're on the starter pack and you only have 50 credits. And let's say each workflow takes like 10 steps to debug. That would be only 5 workflows. So I'd say it's best to maybe debug by yourself and then just use that method so you can have more workflows. So now it's given us a correction. Let's see if this actually works to generate the things exactly how we need. So now let's run it and see how it works. As we can see, it runs again and I didn't have to reconfigure anything, but let's see if it actually accomplishes its mission right now. All right, so we see the same issues still persist, but I don't think it's really a big deal. We can just fix it and it should work properly. So I'm just gonna do some work on it and let's fix this. So now let's come back here and actually fix the issue and run the workflow to see if it works now. So the issue should be coming from this generate reply. And basically, we just want to fill these fields over here with the correct information. So we want to just get those drag and drop from the input field. So here we can just take all this away. And I just want to drag and drop from over here into the correct places. So we have the subjects, just drag and drop the subject. We have the text, so we can just put the text. Or if you want, you can actually put the HTML text as well, just to get a better understanding, but I'm just going to leave this as this for now. And we can just drag the from as well. And let's run it again to see how it works. Awesome, and it's completed. So let's take a look and see if this is working correctly right now. And as we can see, this is our output. So we still need a little bit more work and a little bit more effort to put inside because even if now it's giving us the right things, we still have a lot we have to do before this is actually refined. But as I say again, as a version 1, this is not too bad. So now let's test it out on more complex workflows to see how it works in those cases. If you like this video so far, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you have any comments, make sure you leave them in the comment section below. So for a second agent, let's just build a content system for LinkedIn. So here we have build an AI content creation agent that automatically creates LinkedIn content focused on recent AI trends. The agent should create engaging, professional, and thought-provoking posts that highlight the latest developments in AI, provide 2 to 3 key insights or takeaways for the readers, and optionally suggest relevant hashtags to increase reach, and so forth. So we want that to be in a professional tone and designed to spark discussions. So I'm just going to send that over. Awesome. So it's done generating this. And I just want to make a comment that if you do send like a new automation in the same chat, it does put them in the same place. So that is something that's good to note. So I'm just going to take out the first one. So we just have the one we're working with right now. So I see this and it's okay, but I think that there are a lot of things that it doesn't really take into context when it's building this out. Because here we start with a schedule trigger, and then we have this workflow configuration edit field set node, and it just basically wants to set all the fields for the news API. And we have this, we have Anthropic that is connected, structured output parser, and it gives us a formatted LinkedIn post. But I'd say there's still more that can be done here and some things it doesn't take into consideration. For example, maybe doing some more advanced things like actually scraping competitors' posts, maybe thinking about, okay, what is a good tone and voice? What makes actually a high converting post? Like there are different factors that are not really considered in place. So something that could be a more complex workflow, it just really simplified it and gave like a really basic skeleton for that. So that I'd say a bit something to talk about, but let's see if this actually runs and if it can actually give us a response that is viable. So let's go. All right, so same thing like before, we still need to do some configurations, and sometimes it puts some fake links that don't really exist. So you just have to, switch those out to make sure they're viable links that do work really well. So this is what we've seen for this. Didn't work as expected, and it gave some errors over here as well as some weird things here. So we have some undefined. So just like before, it kind of has the issue of mapping correctly what should be in each individual place. So what values should be here, which is the problem that we had here as well. So definitely something that could be improved, but as a version 1, it's trying its best. So I still say it's pretty viable. I'd say for something that's more complex and really needs some more extra variables, it doesn't really take everything into context and it's still doing that issue of mismatching the variables. So that is something that could definitely be improved on. Now let's do the third one that's a bit more complex and see how it can handle that one as well. So for the third one, we have when a new role is added to Google Sheets newsletter signups with an email address in column A, use an AI agent to enrich the data by extracting the name, company, and professional title from the email domain or publicly available info. Write this data to column B through D in the same role. Then create a new record in Airtable Base or CRM in contacts table with all the enriched information. So let's see how this performs with this as well. Awesome. So it has completed doing this. And as we can see, just like the first time, it gives us steps to complete before executing our workflow to make sure all our credentials are set up. And now let's just look into this and see what's happening here. So here we have it then adds a new role in the newsletter signups and it enriches the data that we have over there. It uses OpenAI chat model and it uses this web research tool. Here, I'm pretty sure it just used any random information. I doubt it actually used the tool. And we have here, it uses this to extract the content fields. It then updates the sheet with enriched data and then creates the contacts in Airtable. Let's just look at how this looks like. Map each column manually, and then you just select the credentials. So overall, I think this is pretty good for a skeleton of how this could work. It actually goes from step one all the way to the final step, which I like, but there's definitely some improvements that can be made. Like here we have this web research tool. I'm pretty sure this is just a placeholder, so it doesn't have a specific software or a specific service that it uses here to then get that enrichment data to enrich the contacts. So there are a lot of limitations right now, but as a principal skeleton, I'd say this is pretty good because you can just go in and make debugs. But yeah, that's just how it works right now. And I'm pretty sure with the next upgrades, there will be more and more to it. So let's just look out for that as well. So we just have to note that in some cases, we'll need to go in and make some changes, make some configurations, maybe find our own tools and services to replace with these placeholders just to make our automation come together properly. And now I want to talk about my honest opinions and where I kind of see this going in the future and in the months to come. So now let's talk about my honest opinion on this n8n AI Workflow Builder version 1. So first we have debugging. So I'd advise if you're ever going to use this and maybe there's some issues with the workflows that you should not actually debug it with the actual chats because with each prompt that is 1 credit. And if you have like 25 issues, that could just use up all your credits and you end up not achieving what you want to achieve with the workflow. Next, we have ideation. So I think this is really good for ideation because it kind of gives you the opportunity to have like a starting base or like a template or skeleton that can kind of help you start putting your ideas together and seeing how your workflow can come together. Especially for beginners, I think this is a really good concept because it really helps you see how everything works with the workflows and you can use it to put everything together. Next, we have the credit limit. So as I said earlier, this is not unlimited workflows. You do have a limit to where you can use this. So always keep that in mind. And for our particular demo today, we saw a lot of wrong parameters. So just the AI putting whatever in there instead of putting the actual correct thing. So you might have some cases where you have to actually switch out those wrong parameters for something that is more correct and legit. So for final words, I would say this is really good for smaller basic workflows, like an A to B kind of workflow that's really simple and really easy to understand. But for much bigger, complex workflows with a lot of requirements and a lot of edge cases, I don't think it is quite there yet. But with the speed, it is fast. So just as I said, under 2 minutes, you do get that basic workflow, which I like. but this is still version 1. And I think this is actually very powerful as a version 1. So there are a lot of improvements to come, and we should keep an eye out for that and keep taking advantage of everything n8n is bringing with its updates. And that is it, everything I have to say about this new n8n AI workflow builder. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you have any comments about the n8n workflow builder, or if you have any questions at all, make sure you leave them in the comment section below. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.